Hello, this is Reverend Bill Ryan, and tonight is Friday the 17th. I've been away for a few days. My apologies, not my fault. I've been without internet. Um, Apparently, some people across the street got some work done, and for one reason or another, they got their work done, and it interfered with mine. Couldn't get anyone out here for a few days. So yeah, what a week to go without doing any podcasts. So a couple of things would to go over. I didn't know what to do today. So many different things. I thought at first about the porn queen. I mean, the one that I don't even remember her name. Was it like Bunny Blue or something? I don't know. Don't even really need to know her name. She did 1,057 guys in 12 hours. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I'm not a prude. There was a time when I was younger. I like to go out and have a good time. I can still appreciate, people want to have a good time, but there's just nothing. There's nothing good, exciting about this. I wouldn't even want to watch it. If they gave it away for free, I wouldn't want to watch it. I've got no desire at all to know anything about this woman. If someone had it and asked me to watch it with them, I would have to respectfully decline. There's just nothing in there for me. And as far as these guys are doing it, as I said before, I wouldn't want to be number 173 in line. But yeah, I think I worked that out to be something like I think I worked it out to be like 1.5 men per minute. I don't know how she did it. Don't want to know how she did it. Don't care. Couldn't be more disinterested. And like I said, I appreciate a beautiful woman. I am not a prude, but there's just nothing there that I want to see or be interested in. I don't really know who could possibly be interested in that. Um, and it's just starting. There's going to be a competition for everyone's going to try to one up themselves for some ridiculous reason. Geez, back in the 80s, man, you couldn't get a girl to give it away. And now they just can't give it away enough. Um, this woman, I guess, there was a story that before she did this, she went into, I don't know, like a fast food place, maybe a McDonald's or something, or who knows. And she was trying to give it away to a guy there. And he had some brain cells and he said, no, thank you. But anyway, that was one thing that I was thinking about doing. Another one thing, I guess today Biden commuted another 2,500 sentences, which he's by far now all the records are blown out of the water by him. I don't understand what's going on. There's no one home, obviously. I don't know who's actually controlling his puppet strings, but yeah, I mean, he's got a couple more days left. Hopefully, he can keep it together for that time. But I'm just wondering. People said a while ago that he hasn't been in control since day one. His own people have said that. So why didn't they invoke the 25th Amendment? I mean, that's one of the things I think I would want to know if I was in a position of power. If everyone admits the guy's not capable of performing in office, and we don't know who's running the country, 25th Amendment guys, please. Okay, but you also have an up. Oh, the LA fires. That's another thing too. Um, I don't know. I just so much gross incompetence. I don't even know where to begin there. I guess there's now this stories being floated around that the mayor has got some corruption going on. Surprise, surprise. I'm sure we'll get more information about that. I didn't really get too much into it because again, you see her. What's her name? I forget. Karen something. Karen Base maybe, or I don't know. But you see her and you start seeing kickbacks, corruption, all that kind of stuff. You just say, oh yeah, shocker, and move on because that's kind of what I expected. Let's see, the inauguration's coming up. I think it's Monday. Um, the can't get here soon enough. Village people are going to perform after they asked him to cease and desist using their song. Now they want to play at the inauguration. I guess whatever gets you the most, you know, most airtime, most advertisement for a group that, geez, 50 years now since they really were a thing. Yeah, I'm old enough. I remember when they were a thing. Scary enough. Um, and I also saw a pretty interesting movie. I'm definitely going to review this, not today, but 13 Assassins. I came across that accidentally the other day. Um, and boy, that was refreshing to see. It really was. Very good movie. Um, and if you're wondering, by the way, I'm not trying to be too cool for school with these sunglasses on. I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago I lost my glasses, so I ordered some more um, online. And actually, the nice glasses. The only thing is, I got them with tint, so I could, wear them outside as sunglasses. The only thing was, I kind of expected that maybe indoors I wouldn't get quite the sunglasses effect. So, might want to take a look at that. I think is I maybe to lighten them up somehow. But right now, I look like Howard Stern's. But I assure you, it's nothing more than the fact that I got these new glasses and I can see with them. It's just that I'm seeing with a tint, which is really exciting. And when I mean exciting, I mean not exciting at all. It's just kind of an annoyance right now. So tonight, I thought I was going to, and I actually saw this a few days ago, right before my internet went out. Um, American Primeval. It seems that we're going through with a Taylor Sheridan, Yellowstone, and the westerns that are coming around. Seems we're going back to the westerns, which, by the way, I'm really glad to see. Maybe they'll get us off the superhero movies, which it's kind of funny because I won't spend too much time on this, but it's funny. I guess they have that new Star Wars show on Disney Plus called Skeleton Crew, which I've not seen. But of what I heard, it's actually not bad, not great, not great. But with what they've been putting out, it's one of the better ones. And the audience just isn't there. No one's watching it, and I guess the same thing happened with Andor, which was supposed to be a decent show, but I guess people are just so tired of being disappointed that they've got no interest in it anymore. And I can see that. I mean, it's happened with me with superheroes. I think I mentioned that last time. Is that I just hope they just stop. I don't even care about if they're good or bad anymore. I'm just so tired of, and it's been what the last 4 or 5 years, one bad superhero after another, and even this latest one with Deadpool and Wolverine. I wonder how good that really was. I did not like it. I just think people were just so hungry to get something that didn't suck that they overestimated it. But honestly, me, I could have done without it. I really, and I like those characters. I just wasn't impressed. But a lot of people, I think, when they're starving, you give them a crust of bread and they think it tastes like a prime rib. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. I'm glad we're getting back to some good westerns, and I think there are some good westerns, especially with Tyler Sheridan. But this is a American Primeval. It's based very loosely on actual events, most precisely. It's the Mountain Meadows Massacre, which was a series of attacks that were performed, I guess, by the Mormons and some Indians. Pesquati or Pesqui. I apologize for getting that name incorrect, but it's Pesquidi or Pesquites. I don't know. But anyway, they murdered 120 people. It's one of the bloodiest days in American history. Now, I did see American Primeval, and I read about the massacre, and I can say that um, it's not a very accurate portrayal from what I can tell. To me, the reality was much, much worse. And I don't want to start just throwing spoilers at you, and it's hard to say it's different. because this is this and this is this. Well, without spilling some of the plot away. So, but I can tell you that the reality of the massacre was far more brutal than what the movie showed, and the movie showed a very brutal massacre. Make no mistake about that. No doubt about that. But it's not nearly as brutal enough. Um, the group was Mormons, which I guess had recently been taken over. I think with a Joe Smith that was I think I'm not very well versed on the Latter Day Saints, but my understanding is it was founded by Joseph Smith, and then he died. I'm not sure he died in prison. I want to say he did, or maybe on trial. Please don't quote me on that. Just kind of from memory. But Brigham Young took it over, and depending on who you talk to, you get a different characterization of Brigham Young. Um, the movie plays him by Kim Coates, by the way, if you guys remember Sons of Anarchy, a very good show from, oh, I don't know, God, time's going by so quickly, 10, 15 years ago. But he was one of the Sons of Anarchy, Kim Coates. And he plays him in one of the more negative lights of Brigham Young. So you probably, if you're a fan of Brigham Young, you're probably not going to like Portrayal. It sheds it's a bit of a hardliner, to put it mildly. This whole miniseries, and it was 6 episodes, I believe. I did it in just about a day. But it was a vehicle all pretty much for Betty Gilpin. I think it's a hard G. I don't think it's a silent. I mean, a soft G. I think it's Betty Gilpin. If I'm wrong, Betty, I apologize. She was, to me, she was best known from Glow, the TV show that was on Netflix a couple of years ago. And she basically, this is her vehicle. It's her movie. And I say that because, not that anyone was bad, just because she was the only character. Excuse me. She was the only character to have enough lines really to show any kind of range of acting, which is not a negative thing on the movie. I mean, I think everyone did a fine job. It just so happens that when it came to scenes, Betty had all the serious acting, and she did a fine job. So that's not a negative. It's just that she had more of a range to act than anyone else. And she showed her acting chops. Good for her. Taylor Kitsch, who I like from Friday Night Lights. And I actually saw John Carter. I thought he took a very, very bad hit for John Carter. It wasn't great, but I saw it with my kids, and they enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it highly, but it killed a Friday night for Daddy's night out with the kids. So I mean, certainly better than a lot of things I've seen recently. He played Isaac, and although it wasn't real clear, he was kind of maybe I guess you could call him a mountain man. He was definitely a loner who lived in the wilderness, and I don't believe it really spelled out what he did, but I guess he was pretty much whatever you needed for if you needed a tracker or I don't know. I kind of thought that he was some kind of a trapper or trail guide or something like that. But he was more or less relegated to grunts, and that's what I mean. It didn't really call for him to do much. A typical line from him would be him grunting like, "Got no business going there." Okay, well, didn't really call for much. Didn't Laurence Olivier wouldn't be needed for this line, and he did a fine job. He really did. I mean, he came across as an outdoorsy kind of guy, knowledgeable. He was not a weakness at all in the series. There was also a newcomer, young, cute girl, I guess American Indian, Shawnee Poitier, although that sounds kind of French. But anyway, she was a character called Two Moon, and she played a character who was sexually abused by someone in her tribe. It wasn't real clear, but it hinted it was probably something like her father or stepfather sexually abused her, and she kind of took off. She did a great job, but again, her character had her tongue cut out. So she was pretty much relegated to just sign language the whole movie, which, again, I mean, she was not a weakness. I thought she had a beautiful smile, nice. She was very she was great for what the role asked. She did, no, she was not a problem. It just, again, the role wasn't exactly very challenging. The gist of the theme was that Betty Gilpin played Sarah, and she had a son Devin. They were looking to find the boy's father, her husband, who was prospecting in a place called Crook Springs, Wyoming. And I assume that there was such a place. I didn't look it up. The problem is that she was supposed to meet a guide at a fort, and by the time she got there, the guide had left. I think it was because winter was coming and the snow was coming, and he couldn't wait any longer, or at least didn't want to wait any longer. So their escort had gone. And I'm going to try not to give too much away here, but they decided that they were going to continue on the trail without him. So it's a woman who is not, she's not Black Widow. Let's put it that way. She probably knows her way around the kitchen and nothing else. And somehow she's decided that she's going to find a way to get across the mountains of I guess Wyoming, and I'm not sure where the states that are there, but it's supposed to be a very dangerous trek. And she's going to do it with her son, who's actually crippled. I probably should have mentioned that. And her son was his name was Devin, and what's the name of the son? Preston Mata was the son, and again, he did a fine job. But most of the time, he just looked pathetic. It didn't really call for much acting. So what happens is essentially there's a crime committed without going into too much detail, and the Mormons are the bad guys for the most part, and they have to find out witnesses, and witnesses have gotten away, and they need to make sure that there are no witnesses because I guess these are Mormons and they're finding it hard enough. Last thing they need is for word to get back east that the Mormons are troublemakers or killers or whatever. And they are now looking for any witnesses to eliminate. And there's a few. Shea Wiggum plays Bridger, the owner of a fort. He was from what is that? Broadwalk Empire. A very good episode, very good show from again about maybe 15 years ago. He played, I think, the sheriff. I forget. It was a while, but he's always a very solid player, and again, you saw that in here. He was trying to explain to the woman that how dangerous it is, and she should not go through with it. But she was not listening. She's headstrong. Which I should probably go into a little bit about that too. Actually, I'll go into it now. She's very headstrong. That was one of the problems I had with this. She eventually hooks up with Taylor Kitsch, and I don't think I'm really giving away anything. That's pretty much told to you when you look at IMDb or reading anything that they hook up in a way that they work together, not in a sexual manner. Although who knows? But anyway, they. And she just doesn't listen to him. And one of the things that annoyed me was whenever he told her to do something, she did what she wanted to do. And that's going to get you killed there. I thought he was a little too tolerant. I've been in situations before where I tell somebody to do something that I know about and they don't do it. And a lot of trouble is pursued. I think he should have just cut her loose. To me, she was just danger. That's just my opinion. I thought I'd mention that too. It's a little plot point. I would say after about half an hour of them together, I think he should have just cut her loose. She was going to get everyone killed. Anyway, so let's see. Going to cut this quick because I'm running a little later. I think that one of the main problems I had, I did like the series. It wasn't as good as, let's say, 1883, and certainly not Yellowstone. I have not seen 1923 with Harrison Ford yet, um, although I probably will. Um, I do like it. I think it was a little long. There was a lot of the same thing repetition, uh, in that they'd go together and then um, they'd separate for some reason by mistake and a set of circumstances, and then they'd run into danger and they'd get out of danger and then they'd find each other again and then they'd go on the trek and then it would happen all over again. Somehow they'd usually get separated, find some danger, get out of danger. And I just thought 6 hours was a bit much. Also, I really enjoyed Brigham Young, but I think they spent too much time with his lieutenants, talking about what they wanted to do, what they had to do. Enough already. We know you got to get the witnesses and kill them. They spent. It seemed that it was a little bit draggy. I think that maybe 2.5 hours would have been more than enough time for this. Um, this was directed by Peter Burke, who was heavily involved with Friday Night Lights, a very competent director. His shots were very, very good. The only problem that I had, with the direction, I guess, or the scripting, how I don't really know how it was broken up, but essentially, I told you that Bridger, played by Shea Wiggum, um, he was telling her about, okay, if you go here, you're going to come across the mountains, and they're tough, but they're going to be really tough because you're going to get snow and they'll be impassable. But don't worry about that because before you get to the snow, either the wolves or the Indians are going to get you and kill you, the Apaches. Um, so at the beginning, you hear all this stuff and you go, "Ooh, okay, this sounds like I'm going to get me some real fun excitement here going, all of these dangers." But it was 90% just the Mormons chasing the witnesses trying to escape. And at the end of the movie, I remember thinking back to when Bridget said, these are all the dangers. Was the snow a factor? Not really. The wolves, yeah, there was some wolves, but they were hardly what I would consider to be a major issue. Um, and the Indians were actually pretty fair-minded and reasonable. So, I mean, they kind of built you up thinking it was going to be like a Donner Party situation, and it ended up just basically being a chase around the mountains, the Mormons versus the witnesses. Um, which is not to say I didn't like it. I did like it. I just, IMDb gave it an 8.3. I thought that was a little high. I would probably give it more of a 7.8, 7.9. Definitely is worth watching. But if I had, a choice between watching, let's say, that and 1883, it's no contest. I'd watch 1883. I like that a lot more than this. But all in all, I mean, yeah, it got the job done. So that said, so I guess I'll end it here. And next time, I guess I'm going to do a review of 13 Assassins, which came out about 2010. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it, and I just happened to stumble across it. I think it was on Netflix. I'll let you know that when I review it. But anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And have a great weekend.